looking ahead at me. Here we go. We're there. Camera's pretty straight. That's good. That's good enough. All right, we're okay. Let's throw in the comments. That's good. Get rid of the music. We'll drop that. Let's make me bigger. That's smaller. Something like that. There we go. We're good. We're gonna take that off for right now. We're excited. All right, what are we excited about? Who the heck knows, right? Oh, well, hopefully you know about something that you're excited about, right? There we go. Let's bring that back in there a little bit more. So, there we go. That looks professional. Lighting's okay. Right kind of shade in there. Got a little natural light coming in through over here. Background looks pretty good. Got a few things represented. Maybe it's a little too busy. Maybe not. Who knows? Little motivation there. Stars can't shine without darkness is what the rest of that stuff says. What an unbelievable, just about 3 years, comes to think of it. I started doing this back in March of 2020. I had the opportunity to do it, had a desire to do it, started doing it. The last couple of, over that period of time, things have changed quite a bit, right? I got started doing this thing, right? We're in the beginning side of COVID. And we started talking about different events that one should be attending because of COVID. I mean, I didn't know what was going on. I should say many of us didn't know, and a few of you might believe that we still have no idea, what's going on or whatever conspiracy theories that are out there and the rest of that kind of stuff. Forget it. I don't care. Well, I care, but I don't care. Let's go there. I care, but I don't care, but that's not the point of it. Point of it is I started talking about these different events that were taking place, things that would be useful to gather information. Boy, if you're in the restaurant business, wow, any kind of retail business, of course, but the restaurant business, the amount of changes that took place were unbelievable. Dining outside, as soon as it warmed up a little bit, as that went, and then trying to help out in that respect. Cafe Spiegel, we'll put a little plug in for you over there. Yep, got a friend that works there too, Trish. But he was incredible. Incredible. This is such a story when it comes to ethics. So what he did was he started making meals to go, but not just fully cooked meals to go. They were mostly cooked meals to go. So when you went home, you actually finished the cooking process. They were all made. You finished the cooking process, heated up, you got fresh meals. Great stuff. Great stuff. He had some things that he needed to deal with, with regards to COVID. He was fully open about the whole thing. In fact, he even interviewed the people and helped clean, helped to sanitize, the restaurant. Great stuff. Great stuff. And he gained all kinds of credibility from that. And I give you a lot of credit there, my friend. You did great. Now, I do believe that man is opening up another location. Wow. Why? Well, food's good. Food's got to be good, but you'd expect the food to be good. But I think it's got a lot more to do with that. I think he gained an unbelievable level of respect. And that's really important. I hope that is something you gather throughout all of this stuff, is the fact that authenticity is definitely key to everything. Definitely is. Whatever you're doing, authenticity is there. You'll wind up saving a lot of time when you go out there and do it. It's going to bring us along to our guest on Monday. Yeah, finally making that change. Our guest on Monday, going to talk a little bit about authenticity, not directly, but she definitely is. That would definitely be brought up in the whole thing. So we went from talking about COVID, what you should do, went there, then down to the car racing. That wasn't the first year. The first year had guests doing that. Then got involved with the drag racing out east. Spent an awful lot of time talking about that. Spent an awful lot of time learning about that. And it wasn't about learning how to drive a car or anything like that. It was learning about what the whole process entails and what the benefits would be of everything, which I just found to be incredible, absolutely incredible. Because if you have people building a car, they're learning all kinds of things, learning about electronics, learning about gear ratios. A lot of math gets involved over there. Learning about color schemes, these cars. Even the Oceanside High School car, they decided not to paint it, but they still put a coating on it. Why? Because they wanted to keep that look of the rat rod they built. So that was a decision. It was a flat out decision for the way they wanted that car to look. And they did. Those students, they're learning about wiring, they're learning about engines, they're learning about manufacturing, learning about welding, they're learning about AutoCAD and other machinery that goes into designing that car because they had to build it, they had to measure it. You know, you talk around with a carpenter about, how do you make sure you cut it right, you cut it the right length, you measure it twice, cut it once. With metal, I bet you to say you might have to measure that thing 3 times. And then that kind of propelled me into learning a little bit more about it. I went over to an event over the past couple of months, Allendale Machinery, about machinery. It was like CNC machinery. It's like I had no clue in the world, but it was like, okay, I figured it's got to do with machines, got to do with building things such as cars. And so I went, fascinating, like unbelievably fascinating. That kind of led into a meeting over there with Suffolk Community College. Had a nice meeting with Dr. Bonnieu, who's the president of the college. Fascinating stuff. John Lombardo, which I met him on other occasions. Workforce development, incredible what's going on. And of course, you've got what's going on with the Suffolk County Department of Labor and the effort that they're putting into things. Unbelievable. Let's go back to that racetrack thing again, too. By the way, the approval has been in place for racing again this year, August. Nice to say this year, now that we're in 2023. So that will take place again. I expect my role to be the same. They won't let me drive a car. Smart people out there. Smart people out there. But who knows? Maybe I'll get, an old big wheel from back in the day when I was a kid and pedal out down there. Probably not. But I do hope to be back on the microphone again, doing the announcing there, but really focusing on that PR, the public relations, the media side of it. And my big push on that is the fact that I've seen so much of this. I've learned much from that to see and understand that what the students are learning in the high school STEM programs, not just auto, but STEM, and how that feeds and filters and grows and satisfies, and it's great, and it's opportunities for like everything, everything. So I had a conversation with, let's put it this way, one of the aerospace companies that you would clearly recognize the name, local, it's based on Long Island aerospace company. And had a conversation with them. It's like, look, been talking about these STEM programs and auto programs, high schools, stuff like that. I taken a look at your job descriptions. Like, am I talking out of hand by saying that what students are learning in high school is fulfilling some of the at least basics of the job description for entry level positions into your company based on job description? The answer is, oh, absolutely not. Oh, absolutely, it does fulfill those requirements, and absolutely not am I talking out of turn on that one. It's like, yeah, it's great stuff. Then we're getting to learn what is taking place at the Workforce Development Building with Suffolk Community College. It's like unbelievable. And because it's those machineries that are helping the students, teaching the students, giving them certifications, I believe, with that. But I know they're earning other certifications from the programs at Suffolk Community College. And I'm sure some of the other colleges, it's just that my conversations have been more with Suffolk Community College and any of the other places at this point. That will change. I can tell you now, that will be changing. That, these students are now really, really learning about what they really need to know, and different techniques, will say, that translate over to the businesses. Fascinating. But what about that real connection between the two? And you got to go to Ron Loveland. Attended a few of the seminars, presentation that he has given through the HIA at the last HIA trade show, the Hauppauge Industrial Association trade show. He had a couple of administrators in from the high schools, and he had some of the business executives from the businesses that are always looking for new employees. And one of the discussions that took place over there was about Are the students actually learning the techniques and skills that they need in order to move directly move directly from high school, into some of these positions? And in order for that to really be current, there's been an open discussion about all of that sort of stuff. So it's fascinating. You're going to throw Suffolk Community College into the equation with that, and I'm sure some of the others, Stony Brook, etc., into that, gets better and better and better. Now, you want to talk about careers, which is, again, my big driving force on this whole thing. I'm a board member for the ECNY Foundation, Executive Consultants of New York. We have a website, Career Map LI. There's a few things, there's many things that I'd like to do with that website, which includes true video about what it's like to work at these different places. So there's a goal in there on my side of things to do this, but it's always been about careers. Always been about careers. It's always been about what our students today, our high school students today, college students, can go into today, as soon as they graduate, at these companies, because there's so many open positions. Does it satisfy the business need? Yeah. They're getting the employees they need, and it's one after another that are looking for employees. I post that a lot on my personal Facebook page when there's a local company that's looking to fulfill positions. There's a lot of them out there. And these are career positions. Careers. It's not just job stuff. This is career stuff. And if it is a job, it's a job that would lead to a career at these companies. Those stories quite frequently. It's like, I started with a company and I was really young, and next thing you know, or not next thing you know, but years later, continue to grow. I was interviewed by somebody, had that story. It's like, oh yeah, I was at this company, and they, I told them I, wanted to go back to school and that kind of thing, and I'd probably have to, leave or cut down hours with the company, and they're like, whoa, 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 don't do that. Here's what we'll do. You get a certain grade level, we'll pay for it. Bam. How you would talk about perfect here. Perfect scenario. He's still with that company, by the way. Why not? Right? Got a great career, and the company paid for his college. Wow, that's an interesting thing, right? That makes college very affordable. Another little quick story, because if you're following along with where I've been going, yesterday I was at the Smithtown High School West for one of the career days. This one, students were practicing their elevator pitches. Spoke to a gentleman there that went to a career day at high school, and a number of years later, still with the same company. Oh, and he didn't go there as representing the company. He went there as a student, and whatever happened, the connection was made while they're working at the company, and still there. Great stuff. Great stuff. So how do you bring all this stuff together? Oh, let's go with what? Let's go with the different schools and different students that might feel a little disenfranchised or not feeling that there's a career in front of them. Untrue, untrue. And look, I don't know all the challenges that go into that. I hope to learn more about that as I continue to move forward. But there are plenty of careers, real good careers, high paying, good careers with maybe a little bit of college, maybe no college. From what I learned over at Suffolk Community College in the auto program, students that are graduating there with a certification, 1 year, some, let's say tuition, something in the teens, they're being offered positions by, it was one of a government position in automotive, for the automotive fleet, it was $60,000. Let's say you pay something. You could talk about that as a business investment, right? Let's assume you pay $15,000 for something and it generates $60,000 in a year for you. You gonna buy that? You can invest that way? Yeah, I tend to think you would buy that piece of equipment. Well, in this case, that piece of equipment is the student. Perfect, perfect. And another one of the auto companies actually offers internships. Paid internships. They're not paying you tuition, but they're giving you a paid internship to learn about that company's cars, which is part of the automotive program. and then you use that money to pay for school, and it's in essence covering your school costs. Good stuff. And then, of course, after you successfully complete that, they do expect you to work for that company. And let me tell you, that's a company you want to work for. In fact, all of these dealerships that are around over here, anything inside of that, if you know and understand how to work on cars and willing to continue to learn how to continue to work on those cars as they continue to adapt, it's like way I see it, that auto industry is like a brand new industry going forward. Electric vehicle sales. A month ago, 2 months ago, I read an article that they were 5% of auto sales were the electric vehicles. Now, you can say what you will, but that number's now up to 10%. What is going to happen? I think those batteries will get better, the range will get better, and a whole bunch of other things will get better. I mean, just look at those first cars that came out, those first hybrid cars that came out. They look like eggshells, you know? They look like a weird look to it, the whole thing. Now you can't really tell on the road, and we'll bring it back to the drag race track there. I've seen a few of those electric vehicles flying down the track, and not only going head to head with the motor cars, uh, coming out ahead of many of those motor cars as it goes. So there's so many things that continue to change, and so many things that are going on, and even doing this show, doing this program that I do, it's like it's changed. It was COVID. It became more than COVID. It became business. Had guests on. Then it became the auto side of it. Then it became a lot of just top of mind kinds of things, stuff that's going on. Well, it's probably too many directions for one program, right? I mean, there's no clear cut. What do I talk about? Whatever's on the top of my mind. Look, you give an elevator pitch and you say, or you give an elevator pitch and I ask you, hey, what are you good at? I'm good at everything. I want to meet everyone. I'm like, that's crud. That's crud. So if I tell you, hey, I got a podcast, you should listen to it. What do you talk about, Brian? Anything that's on the top of my mind. Like, what in the world does that mean? Hey, maybe you remember the tomato. But beyond that, what in the world does that mean? It means nothing. So that needs to be cleared up quite a bit. And that's what we're looking at on a going forward basis. So that'll continue to change as we move along over here. Maybe different things, maybe do few of these things. I don't know, but it's all good and good. All right, let me. I want to flip through some of the stuff that is coming up though as we talk. Let me just sit back here a little bit more. So as that goes, let's bring the tomato back on. Hello, tomato. How you doing? That's good. Top of mind, advancing through opportunities. So opportunities are all around us. They absolutely are. The challenge is finding those opportunities, being ready, being aware of them as they go along. And it's not even just finding them. If you know you're looking for something, you'll find it. That's that law of attraction thing, and people will come to you, and they'll know. They'll know as long as you're authentic. But if you're not aware, you need to be aware, that kind of thing. Yes, that's an interesting one. All right, here's the things that are coming up. Monday, so today's Friday. Monday, we have a guest that will be joining us. She is got a company. It's called Delegation. Delegation Works. Jenna Spencer will be joining us to talk about that. And I'll tie that word back in again. Not delegating. Time management, yeah, but how about that sincerity thing? How do you delegate that business that you've built, that project that you're working on? You're like, oh, yeah, you run with it. I'm like, really? Uh, that trust factor needs to be there, or the credibility factor on the other side, or the talent factor has to be there. It all sounds all well and good once you delegate, but when it comes time to doing it, how do you really do it? How do you really know? So that's some of the things I'd like to chat with her about, besides the obvious time management thing and being able to accomplish more. Because when you find that opportunity, now you actually have to do something with it. Sometimes we need help. Sometimes it just makes sense to bring in another point of view or to move out some of the stuff that you do that you're just not really that crazy about doing. So there's a lot of different ways to look at delegating. We're going to talk to Jenna about that one. So that I am absolutely looking forward to. Must be nice to have a guest on. So you would join us Monday for that one. Tuesday morning. This is in the Miller Business Center, the networking groups that are there. I'm definitely going to be there. Going to bring my friends from Toastmasters along for the ride on that one. We'll be there for that. It's a networking group. Justification, maybe doing too many things again as that goes. But it'd be nice to get out. Love the folks over at the Miller Business Center for one. And they get a chance to meet the people that are actually running these networking groups. Isn't even just the members of the networking groups, but the people are actually running the networking groups, because this is the reality, folks. Those that do, and everybody else kind of follows along. So if you are one of those people that are really looking for decision makers, looking for folks that would take action on stuff, you'll want to attend this one. Go meet these people. Maybe you'll find the right networking group for you to belong to in the process. Maybe you'll understand more so why I'm a big fan of the Miller Business Center. And you'll meet those folks there. Happy to chat with you about that one. And then, of course, the Toastmasters. You need to be able to use your voice to build your business. Let's not kid around about that. Whether it's in person, on camera, doesn't matter. Got to be effective. Got to be effective. Had an interesting conversation with one of the students yesterday about the idea of, and we're kind of talking about interviewing here, about interviewing online. And he said, do you think that's going to remain? Do you think that's going to be something that will continue? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And his comment was, well, it's not as personal as face to face. I was like, yeah, absolutely. But let's talk reality. If you're going to look when you're out there looking for a job, and what do you think the first thing it is that many of these companies are looking at? Your resume. It's a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper. How much of your personality is in that piece of paper? If you're really good and could write really short sentences and do it really well, maybe your personality does come into that thing. But for the most part, you really look at your key accomplishments, things like that. So Maria Fry is the one that speak to about writing that proper resume, but it's still more factual, historical, rather than it's your personality. So first thing first is it's going to be a piece of paper in many cases. Then, of course, if you get a video interview, now you get to share your personality, and you certainly can. And maybe that leads to that in-person interview. And there are certain things you want to do and not do in that in-person interview. And we're not going to go into that, at this point in time, but maybe that'll be one of these programs we do going forward. When we start to talk about the ECNY Foundation, specifically Career Map LI. I think she calls it Maria Unleashed. So we get to talk about that, those kinds of things, about interviewing skills, et cetera, et cetera. But the other part of the conversation when they say, hey, technology changes, absolutely. Da, 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 da. I said, you should be prepared. One of these days, you're just going to become a holographic image. And that's what your digital presence is going to be. You just magically be pop up on someone's desk and no more computer or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. But then again, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? I told him best thing that he could be is him, authentic, sincere, whatever. However, that information about him gets pushed forward, you know what? Put your best foot forward and learn how to do whatever it is as best as you possibly can. That's why I think being able to communicate, to be comfortable on camera is so important. It is not going away, my friends. It got, we got thrown into that because of COVID, but it's not going away. There's so many benefits of that. It won't go away. I run a support group, a co-facilitated support group. Yesterday, we had our meeting. We had people from California, Arizona, New Jersey, around New York area just as well. Do you think that meeting would have been the same if we met in person? Not a chance. Not a chance. As good as I think they are, and the meetings are, our friend from California, he's not flying in for it. It's just not going to happen. And we had a guest speaker who was from New Jersey, and it was very nice, to do that. She joined us, and she's joined us for a certain amount of time, and she half hour. Let's call it a half-hour presentation, that kind of thing. So the amount of time she spent with us was half hour, a little bit more than that, but a half hour, not an hour driving there and another hour driving home and the rest of that. So we were able to accomplish a lot more. Businesses see that too. Able to accomplish a heck of a lot more. So business networking event, you want to go there, that's in person. So you got to remember, put your shoes on, wear long pants, dress or whatever it is that you wear. So that's an in-person one. Um, Business Solution Roundtable. And there's a couple of things I just wanted to point out going forward that I think are important, to attend. This is Ronnie Rosen's group over at the Stony Brook Small Business Development Center. This is something that I attend on a regular basis. It's a roundtable discussion, not so much a networking group, but it is more of an idea discussion group. So it's good. It's an open forum. It truly is an open forum, so that's good. And one of the questions that came up at the last meeting was about getting more involved with high schools. I tell you now, I wasn't the one who brought it up. One or the other did, or more involved with students. So I asked to see if we can get Joel Kronberg from CEO, who coordinates these high school career days, and to present as we get more people involved. And if you're interested in getting involved in that, please let me know. The high schools that she and the company CEO works with are all across the island. So yeah, further out in the Mauritius area, a little bit further than that too, at different times, and then in. So I think the next one's coming up is going to be in around the Mauritius area, and the next one after that, Brentwood. But please let me know. You don't have to do each and every one of them, but you want to do it. If you really don't have a business, a hire, they're looking for hiring businesses that are hiring for the most part, but who knows? If you want to share the stage with me, I make the opening comments on a lot of these things. Maybe you could do it too. So we'll see. All right, let me know. All right, next slide up here, and that is going to be, the Indy 500. I just had to throw this one in. And there was another car show that I wanted to highlight. It was going on. So this is February 19th. Yes, that's right, the day of the Indy 500. Daytona 500, Indy 500, Daytona 500. February 19th. So this is one of the VFW halls, and they got a big screen TV in there. So everybody down there watching it. Yeah, whatever. It'd be kind of cool. What I was looking for also was, and some of these car shows they're still doing outside. The weather's decent enough. But there's another one coming up that's a benefit. It's a benefit for an animal rescue group. You got that, Kath? We'll plug it over there for the animal rescue groups, or at least one of the animal rescue groups. So they'll raise a little bit money in that respect. Let's see what we picked here for other slides. Oh yeah, that dude over there. That's when the new headshot came from. I was out at the track out at Calverton. Where's that going to go? I don't know. Where are a lot of things going to go? I don't know. What I do know, and what I've always experienced, is that if you're hanging around people that are doing things, you're going to wind up doing things, and things get accomplished. The other thing that I do know is that if you do live outside that comfort zone, you're going to wind up accomplishing a little bit more. That's where the don't be afraid to fail thing, because every time you do have a less than desired outcome, you learn something from it. But ultimately, it all comes from having the confidence to go out and do, the confidence to try something, the confidence to explore something, the confidence to see about some project that may or may not work out, but to go out there and do that. Because once you start doing these things, once you start talking about these things, once you start exploring these things, if it is the right thing to do, if it's the authentic thing for you to do, and you're sincere about it, the resources that you need will appear. However they come, however you believe that they appear, but they will appear. And that becomes awfully exciting. So for today, have a great weekend. For Monday, join Jen and myself, as we talk about delegating and her company, Delegation Works. And then we'll kind of move on from there. Maybe we'll see you following Tuesday morning at the Miller Business Center. And we'll continue to make things happen and continue to evolve. It's going to be an exciting 2023, because we shouldn't make it a non-exciting year. Let's make it an exciting year. And you will be doing that by doing what? Exactly. By speaking well, speaking often, and living inspired.